Today we're talking with the founder of VisuWall about her unique approach to ad tech. First though, let's dive into the broader ad tech industry.
Absolutely. I mean, we now talk about things like algorithms, right? We're looking at data analytics, things that we didn't talk about in the past. So when you think about ads now, they're far more personalized. And so companies who are really looking to target a certain demographic have to think creatively about how they deliver authentic brand messages.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think one of the more fascinating things is when you do a Google search and then you start realizing that pair of Gucci shoes I was looking at is now popping up on Facebook, kind of stalkerish. And some people even joke or think that they actually say something on their phone and then those type of advertisements pop up.
Right.
So it's very interesting to see like how advertisements have become very ingrained in our day-to-day lives.
But it is effective. I mean, let's think about it for a second and let's unpack this. If you are Googling, let's say, for example, those proverbial Gucci shoes and you see it on the side, you're more likely to click that ad, to go to that website and buy them. So they're definitely getting the return on that investment.
I mean, I am totally guilty of it. I've definitely searched for something and then a few days later bought it because it popped back up.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the thing that's really interesting, it's not just on the Facebooks, it's also on the Instagram, it's on YouTube, it's on any digital platform. You really can get these personalized ads that are really delivered directly to you.
Yeah, so it's one of those things you just love and hate, right?
Absolutely. Next up, we'll have everyone doing a double take at those display screens when they're walking around. So keep it locked right here with CultureBanx Game Changer.
We know entrepreneurs are some of the busiest people around. I mean, they're hiring, they're building, they're doing it all. We've been reading a lot of cool things about your company. But tell us, who does it benefit more, the lender or the borrower?
Well, Solo is a marketplace, so it actually has to benefit both.
Rohan, Barley Sober. Yes. This is the company that is going to revolutionize the bar industry, not just here in the US, but globally. Tell us why. Now, there's nothing worse than having your business disorganized, but no need to fear. We are here to help.
First though, let's get started with some entrepreneurial news that everybody should be aware of this week. Welcome back to Game Changers. Ever wondered how much information window display ads can collect for brands? Well, you're in luck. Joining us now is Kobi Wu, CEO of VisuWall.
Welcome, Kobi. Thank you. Loving the coat, the blazer. Looking very retro chic today.
Yes. Here for you guys. Here.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Well, I mean, you're obviously a trailblazer and a game changer yourself. I think what's really interesting about VisuWall is that you're literally using storefronts to connect with customers and consumers, or potential customers and consumers. Break that down for us. How does this all play out?
Yeah, so what we do is we take storefront windows that have been empty, right, for the most part. So they can be vacant, they can also be occupied, but we'll get to that later. But the vacancy is what we're looking at because they're not making any money right now. They are typically in really great locations, like high traffic areas, especially if you're walking around New York City, you can totally see that right now. And we just take a moment to say, hey, we can optimize those windows with some revenue that is going to make a difference for the landlord and also is in the right pocket and the budget parameters for advertisers.
That's awesome. So your company is described as a physical to mobile ad platform.
Yes.
What does that even mean?
That means we are taking the physical landscape where people actually are and really affecting the consumer journey And then taking it, understanding that most people are on their mobile devices, probably looking down as they're walking down the street, looking at their phone. But if they are in proximity to our windows and they see something that's kind of eye-catching, they're prone to look up. And once they see that, if we can connect with them on their mobile devices as well, they see that same ad on mobile, they're more inclined to engage.
Wow.
So how do you ensure that an ad on a storefront is eye-catching, is engaging?
Well, we give best practices to our advertisers.
Okay.
And we always say, make sure there's a nice call to action. Make sure your imagery is eye-catching. We're doing a campaign right now for a Victoria's Secret brand called Pink. And it's all about diversity and inclusion. And you can really see the images. It makes you just kind of look up because it's bright. The people in the image are fantastic looking. The simple call to action. And that's how we capture people.
It's really neat. So you once said that some people think that you can get funding simply by sketching on the back of a napkin. Is that what you did?
No, that's not how it went down over here. I think as a founder in today's world, it's really intense. There's a lot of new startups that are happening, especially amongst people of color, which is awesome.
Right.
I think as people of color, we tend to know that we have to come with the goods. We have to come with traction. We have to come with the ability to sell our product. It's not just that idea on the back of a napkin. We actually have to be able to prove that people want what we're doing and sell it at a price point that is scalable and that people believe in. It's the juice of VisuWall. So we have a computer vision sensor in every window that's counting the number of people walking by and telling us how long people are engaging, if they're even looking, and who, through certain biometrics, we're able to discern like who's looking. A male, a female, their approximate age, even if they're smiling, happy, sad, or neutral. And it really gives advertisers a robust idea of how people are responding to a campaign. So, those analytics are exactly what advertisers don't have in traditional out-of-home. And so what we looked at is the landscape of digital advertising and brought that to the streets.
Really neat. So you didn't start in the ad space. How did you get your start and how did you break into this? Who was your first client?
Well, it's an interesting, meld of my whole history. So I used to be in the music business. I used to know a lot of people in, on the back end. I'm not a musician. I can't sing or dance or do any of that.
Me either.
I absolutely knew a few people that helped me move my career along. And I eventually transitioned into marketing and advertising, specifically working with brands and celebrities and trying to bridge the relationship on how they connect. VisuWall came to fruition because I knew enough about advertising to know that consumers will respond to certain things. If it's a celebrity in the ad, if the ad is authentic in general, if it's speaking to, people of color, if it's speaking to general market, what have you. So I had that already kind of ingrained. And when I came up with VisuWall, it just seemed like a great fit.
Wow.
My first client was Apple Music. So
pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, bravo to you.
Thank you. But, back to the music DNA, it all kind of made sense, right? My first campaign is with a big technology company in the music game.
Awesome. Well, we've got more coming up next with Kobi right after this, so stick with us on CultureBanx Game Changers. Joining us now is Rebecca Allen, CEO of Rebecca Allen Shoes. Thanks so much for having us and joining us with us.
Thanks for having me. Hi.
All right, let's go back a little bit to just really tell our viewers what Squad is, how they can grow their squad, and what this really means for authentically connecting with others.
Way back during my time in the Obama administration, we talked about healthcare, particularly from the Obamacare and a lot of the rules and regulations.
What about, the ability to take those online connections offline at scale? And so that was what Squad essentially is and does.
So tell us how you've been leveraging the Obama network to help build your business.
Major markets like New York and London, but what exactly goes into choosing a location for your advertisements?
Great question. We look at demand. We look at the demand. I mean, there's obviously a lot of real estate all over the world, but we want to make sure that we are optimizing properly. So, we look at like where people are asking for locations first, and it's usually like New York, Los Angeles, London is a question, Chicago, Miami. So we'll be going after those markets and looking for Chicago and Miami in 2020, and continuing to build from there.
Yeah. Well, location is just one of many things you have to consider as a business owner. So what's been the biggest challenge you faced so far?
Um, in all honesty, I think it's been team. To find the right team and to find the right people that really like what you're doing and are committed to it and not in it just for the check, because we are a startup and you can't just be in it for a check.
Yeah.
So we're constantly looking for the right folks that understand what we do, are excited about it, and are committed to it.
Absolutely. Well, have you noticed any trends on who is most likely to engage, whether that's millennials versus baby boomers or men versus women? Any trends like that?
You know what? That's really interesting. I mean, we look at, we see that there's typically an adult segment versus the youngster segment, which is up to 16 years old. 16-year-old and younger will like stare and glare at windows and kind of like look in awe as they're walking by. And then the adult segment will tend to like take a quick glance and either do the action or keep on walking.
Yeah. So I have a more of a career-focused question. So many people ask me from day to day, how do you switch industries? So you starting in music and then switching to the ad sector. What advice would you have for someone who wants to just like totally switch the game?
You know what? I can't speak for everybody because my path has been so non-linear. But I think have a passion for it. You have to have a passion for it and appreciate and respect the people in the industry that you're approaching. I think one of the things that I realized right off the bat, especially coming from advertising and marketing and trying to be a part of the real estate game, was I don't have real estate DNA. I had to be quiet and listen a lot and be talked to kind of crazy by some people who were in the real estate game. Yeah. They were like, you don't know anything about what we do. Listen to some of our needs. And so that's exactly what I did for an entire year. I just listened and then, was able to garner those relationships in the right way.
Wow.
It seems, it's hard as it is to shift careers, right? But it's even more compounded when you're an entrepreneur. So what advice do you have for people who are looking to become founders themselves?
That is probably the best question that I've ever gotten. I think
glad to hear that.
Yeah. I think being a founder of any business, tech in particular, is you've got to be committed, and it doesn't go quickly. It's a slow and steady. It's a marathon, if you will. And while some businesses appear to take off in a year or 18 months and suddenly have billion-dollar valuations, I don't think that that's actually the case. I think there's somebody sitting in a room crying, like I did for a first year, like, oh my God, what would I do? I quit my job for this. You have to be committed and know that it's, you have this wave of benefit. Yes, you are the founder, and also a lot of lows, like, oh my gosh, I don't have the cash flow this month. So what are you going to do? And you have to be able to temper that throughout the whole process, every day.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Well, thanks for joining us, Kobi Wu, CEO of VisuWall. And stick around for some entrepreneur advice on Game Changers next.
You're back with us on CultureBanx Game Changers. Let's dip into our 3 entrepreneurial keys for breaking into ad tech.
First, as a founder, leverage your connections and network to find clients. Number 2, use data and analytics to really define your customer, define your consumer, and ensure engagement. And number 3, don't be afraid to shift careers and enter new spaces in order to make a name for yourself.
Well, I'm Dan Roberts, and this is Ruth Umo. Make sure to check out all the savvy business news specifically for the culture at CultureBanx.com. Thanks so much for experiencing the ad tech gems from VisuWall.